I had a huge crush on Draco Malfoy, and I guess I just kept drawing fan art of him and posting it online.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of E-Junkies. In case you haven't heard, Turning Red, the new Pixar film, drops on Disney Plus on March 11th. It is this really cute coming-of-age story about a Chinese-Canadian girl called Meilin Lee, and she wakes up one morning and discovers that she has the ability to turn into a red panda. It is a blessing, but she also kind of views it as a curse that has been passed down through the women in her family for generations. And when she experiences extreme emotions, she poofs out and she turns into the red panda. And through these transformations, she kind of discovers how to balance the perfect Asian daughter that her mother wants her to be, as well as the wild child who goes crazy for boys and chases a fictional boy band called Fall Town. And here to talk more about the film are director Domee Shi and producer Lindsey Collins.
Hi Domee, hi Lindsey. I'm Brian from AsiaOne Singapore. Nice to see you guys. I'm just gonna get started because a lot of talk about not a lot of time. Who is or was your favorite boy band? And what was the craziest thing you've done for an idol?
Well, my favorite boy band, I think, in the traditional sense, was NSYNC. I was also a fan of Boyz II Men, which was an earlier incarnation of boy bands. The craziest thing I ever did, I don't even have the excuse of being a kid. I was a full-blown adult, and I mistakenly emailed the entire company of Pixar, telling them I was a believer. And I didn't mean to. I just meant to send it to one person, and it went to the entire company. So yeah, that was awesome.
Oh man, my favorite boy band was NSYNC growing up, but I wasn't as obsessed with real life boys as I was with fictional boys. So that's how I'm different from Meilin. I had a huge crush on Draco Malfoy, and I guess I just kept drawing fan art of him and posting it online for everyone to see. I had online shrines dedicated to this fictional boy who now I don't even like him anymore.
Okay, so this next question is for Domee. So your works have a common theme of this overprotective mom or parent. We see in Bao and we see it now in Turning Red. Was that something you experienced growing up? And what is one tiger mom moment that still haunts you to this day?
It was definitely something I experienced growing up, but my mom had her reasons for it. I think every parent has their reasons for being protective of their kid. And making these movies is just my way of wanting to understand them and where that came from, and just try to understand my mom and parents in general just a lot better. One tiger mom moment, there were many, and I put them all in the movie. So like that scene where May's mom follows her to school and hides behind a tree with sunglasses on, that actually happened to me on my first day of middle school. And it forever haunts my dreams. So I just had to put it in the movie.
Mind if we ask, so what happened when your mom followed you to school and put the sunglasses on?
She did not fight with a security guard, thank goodness. But I had walked out of the school thinking I had made some new friends, and thinking that they thought I was super cool, until one of them said, "Who's that lady hiding behind a tree?" And I look up and it's my mom, and she's put sunglasses on because I think she thought I wouldn't recognize her with sunglasses on. And she just sees me, and she kind of gets startled and steps out. And she's like, "Oh, I was just worried about you, Domee. It's like, go play with your friends. I'll just watch from here."
Okay, so this next question is for the both of you. So Meilin grapples with the Asian values of being obedient and perfect and filial, and she grapples with the Western upbringing where she's vocal and quirky and assertive, and it's this struggle between both. And in Singapore, we kind of face that as well. There's always this constant balance between the two, and some people find that there can be an erosion, like adopting Western practices is an erosion of Asian values. What do you think? Do you think either side can learn from each other? What can they learn, and is it possible to coexist?
Oh yeah, I think so. But I think it's going to be a lifelong back and forth, like a lifelong struggle. That's kind of the conclusion that I came to making this movie, and coming to terms with my own kind of relationship with my family versus my own goals and ambitions. And it's just going to be something that you constantly have to battle with, like that's just the nature of being kind of like a person living in both of these worlds. And it's okay that it's not going to be perfect. Sometimes in your life, you're going to lean more Western, and sometimes you're going to lean more, towards your own culture.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've obviously learned a lot about it in making this film. I'm not of two cultures really, and so it's been interesting for me to kind of obviously learn from Domee and also other members of the crew about kind of what is true and seems slightly universal for most people who are either first generation immigrants or in two different cultures, that there is a constant kind of balancing act that you're trying to do, and that it adds another layer of stress onto an already stressful situation of growing up. There's no such thing as perfection. You can't nail it. And I think that's not unique to having to struggle between cultures, but it is certainly even more difficult, I would say.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me. I have to wrap up. But thank you so much for the film. It's amazing. And I enjoyed the scene where the aunts appeared and then they were all dressed exactly how I imagined them. Even in Singapore, we see that. So fashion transcends geographical boundaries. Thank you so much, guys. And I will see you soon, and can't wait to see what comes next. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So that was, an amazing conversation. I prepared a lot of questions. I know it's only 5 minutes, but I wanted to even ask her about like the Chinese representation, like the attention to details. As I mentioned, my favorite scene was when her aunts and her grandmother appeared. They had these close-up shots on their attire, on the footwear, on the clothes, on the handbag. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I actually see that in Singapore as well. It was just mind-blowing, I guess, to see that level of attention to detail and accurate representation on screen. And I think for once, to see such an endearing and a very relatable representation of Chinese culture meant a lot to me. So I really cannot wait for you guys to see this film. I think you'll love it because most Pixar films actually target your heartstrings. This one does, and not in a preachy way. So I approve. And don't forget, Turning Red drops on Disney Plus on March 11. That's it for this episode of E-Junkies. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I really, really cannot wait for you guys to see it. I hope you enjoy Turning Red.